Hello and welcome to another Mapping It Out Wednesday. And we're finally live. We're not doing recordings finally. Akila and I are back. How are you, Akila?
I am fine, all the better for being on here again. And I'm happy that you've decided that we're going to have some fun today.
Yes, yes. So, as Akila has alluded to, I have some fun questions. Some of them are questions that people have posed, like I've heard in passing conversations. And some of them I just thought would just be some fun, interesting, motivational map questions that Akila is going to answer it in a way that's going to educate us while we're having a good time.
I certainly hope we have a good time.
We will, I promise. Okay, Akila. So, my first question to you is what would happen if your boss's motivators were completely different than yours and they clashed with yours? So, for example, if your boss was a builder, expert, friend, and you are a searcher, creator, spirit.
Okay, that's an interesting one.
Mhm.
Starting with the boss, you said builder, expert,
Builder,
and
expert,
friend.
and friend. Yeah, that's
Okay,
the top three motivators for this boss.
yeah. And that's a very interesting one because builder is in the red, it's an
hmm
achievement.
hmm
Friend is, of course, in a relationship.
hmm
And expert is
Is in
in
the red.
achievement. Yeah.
Yeah. hmm
So he is very, or she is very achievement focused.
hmm
Okay. And what's interesting about that is because they're strong in getting things done, checking off their lists. And you, as the employee or direct report, being a creator spirit and searcher,
hmm
it's can be considered more airy-fairy in the sense that while you like to get things done, your vision, your dream is more important. And especially with the spirit, you're very much a visionary. You want to help people and you are great at problem solving.
mm
So the problem solving is not going to be an issue with you and your boss
And your boss.
because
Yeah.
the more problems you solve, the more happier that person will be.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. But let's take the um the spirit. First of all, what you have is a clash between the spirit and the friend, or a
Mm,
potential clash between the spirit
yes.
and the friend. Because if this boss is very much a social person, he likes to bring his team together, and you are somebody who's going, oh God, not again. I've got work to do. You know, it's it's something that would, if you don't show up, it would cause an affront. If
hmm
you do show up but don't participate, it would also create some tensions within the team because it's obvious you don't want to be there. You
mm.
know, Um, so if you want to be in good with your boss, what you would have to do is show up and pretend to be having a great time.
Ouch.
Yeah. Now, if you and your boss had your motivational maps done,
Mm,
okay, and you can talk about it, that's a totally different scenario
absolutely.
because you've had the conversation. I'm not comfortable with this. I with going out all the time. I'll come to some of the events, but not everyone. And understand that it's not because I don't like my team or I don't want to be there. It's just it's how I draw energy is from being by myself at times. And I never know when that's going to be one of the things that's calling to me.
You know what I like about that is that knowing what your motivators are, and then also knowing what your boss's motivators are, that creates such a rich conversation that
Mhm.
if you didn't know, if you were in this situation with your boss and the boss is a very social person and the boss really likes to go out and, lifestyle is very important to the boss. So, sort of showing that off and that's not what's important to you, it can create conflict in reality. But
It can
having
and
the
does.
yeah, and having the conversation though, and understanding each other and recognizing that no motivator is better than the other, it's just
Mhm.
how you are motivated and how that other person is motivated. I think it creates such a great conversation that now your boss is not always going to force people to go out together. The boss is going to think about, here's where we're going. Would you be willing to go out this time? Because I'd like us to all bond versus, hey, let's just go out and have fun and be
Mhm.
friends, right?
Yeah, or it's a
So,
special
or
occasion,
just,
or
yeah.
yeah, special announcement.
Yeah.
Like you said, he's giving you the information of what's important to him about this,
Hmm.
and you get to choose which times you want to go. Yeah.
Yes,
You don't
absolutely.
have to show up for Friday evening drinks if you don't
Mm,
want to. Yeah.
right. Yeah, so I think a great one. A fun question, but really insightful too. Okay, so this next question is how often do people mistake a personality trait for a motivator? And then how do you set them straight?
Well, like I said, this one contains my biggest, I have to step on my soapbox for this one.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Step in the soapbox. We're listening.
Because I believe that motivation is one of the most overused and abused words in the English language.
Mm,
People say the word motivation. What motivates me? I want motivated employees. And you ask them what it means. And for most people, motivation, they will say things like desire or something I really want or something that a few people will say something that drives me. I've had a couple who says energy. So
mm,
those are the two that's there. But the fact is that when we talk about motivation, look at all the police procedural movies. The motive is either money, love, or what's the other one? Yeah. Anyway, but yes, money could be a motivator in that. If a person has a high builder
mm,
and it is so high that they will do anything for money, they may be able, they may use that as one reason for committing crime, and that
mm,
would be a motive. It could also be a motive for that has nothing to do with the motivator, the motivational dimension called builder, which is the one about money and lifestyle.
mhm.
One of my favorites is I don't know if you watch the Marvel World comics, but I
I
do.
do.
Well, do you remember the Sandman when he
Yes.
robbed the bank? It was
Yes.
not for money for him; it
Yeah.
was money to help his child,
Mm,
right? So the motive, the motivation there, yes, the money was what the police would say. He wanted the money, so he broke the bank. But
mm,
his real motivation was because of his wanting to make a difference to his child's life.
right.
So that was a searcher motivation.
Hmm.
Okay. So when it comes to that, personality traits, like, and even love, okay, when we say love is a motivator, love is not a motivator. Love is an emotion which can help, that comes from, how should I put this? Love is a very high need to belong. And
Hmm.
usually it's to belong to someone.
Hmm.
Okay. The motivation themselves, like the belonging motivator and the builder motivation, doesn't have good or bad. When it starts to go on either side, becoming more pervasive and destructive, comes from how much it is desired.
Mm.
Okay, and then it has the potential. So on a scale of 1 to 40, if your need to belong is 40, then that is what is going to be driving you. You will do anything to belong to a person or a group.
Mm-hmm.
However, like, because one is group based and the other love is usually
A person.
personal.
Yeah.
So love in itself is not a motivator. People will also think being friendly is the same as friends. Being friendly is a personality trait,
Mm-hmm.
but it just means that you're outgoing, you like to talk, you like to be around people. It doesn't mean that you are good at creating relationships and keeping them for the long term.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm an ambivert. Okay. I'm exactly at the 50 scale between extrovert and introvert.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm also a high spirit, or have been. And I'm still a spirit, but not as high as I used to be. But the fact is that when I'm out, I'm out. I'm friendly. I have a friendly personality
Mm.
and I enjoy being part of the group and very vivacious and chatty and all of that type of thing. But when I don't want it, I don't go. I don't go to parties when I'm not in that kind of a mood. So, because when my spirit is high, I'm not going to be vivacious. I'm not going to be chatty because I want to internalize my thoughts and feelings.
Yeah, and I love that example too, because I think a lot of times we assume if someone is an introvert, like if on the spectrum, right, that
Mhm.
they're maybe a higher introvert on that introvert extrovert spectrum, that means that they're not friendly. And
Mhm.
they can be very friendly, they're just not interested in doing certain activities that are sort of assigned to being friendly, like,
Yes.
going out or doing those things. And that the fact that motivators are really about levels of energy as opposed to your personality traits. Because
Mhm.
if I have a lot of energy around going out and spending time with people, I in that time my energy is around a sense of belonging, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm friendly or not friendly, which is the personality trait.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I'll tell you, when I'm in a highly creative state, between the vision and making things work to make that vision happen,
Hmm.
I don't have a lot of energy to spend with other people because
Yeah.
I have spent so much on getting that done.
Yeah. I understand that because, in truth, I am naturally an introvert.
Hmm.
And I joke and say I'm an introvert with extrovert tendencies, right? But I do believe it's a spectrum. And
It
so
is.
and I also believe that it's about where I can put my energy into. And so it's true, when I am in my creative mode, I'm I'm not interested in hanging out with other people, or I'm just focused on, the energy that I can provide to
Hmm.
that sense of creativity. That's where my focus is, and everything else is draining.
Yes.
And so I think it's really important that we recognize the fact that just because someone and it, has, that sense of I don't want to go out, I don't want to spend time with other people, it doesn't mean that they're not friendly. It just means that that's not where their energy is in this moment. I think most people would say I'm a pretty friendly person. I
Hmm.
don't think anybody would accuse me of not being friendly, which is,
Friendly? No,
yeah,
definitely not.
yeah, but which is a personality trait, right?
Yes.
It's really a personality trait. But the truth is that I'm not motivated by a high sense of belonging. That's not what motivates me. I'm
Yeah.
motivated more by creativity but that doesn't negate my personality. And so I love that distinction because that does help, I think, in
Mhm.
terms of explaining why our motivators are not personality traits. It's just where our energy needs to be.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. 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 All right. So here's my next question for you. It's a little bit of a silly question. You
Okay.
ready?
Hmm.
Okay. If Motivational Maps was a dating app, what pair would be match made in heaven and what pair would be a disaster?
Well, again, if it was a dating app
Mhm.
that did the motivational maps and vote people, and then there was an explanation, like a debrief,
Yes.
things that could potentially go wrong will be alleviated. It
Mhm.
doesn't mean it will go away
Yeah.
for where the tension is, but there are times where most of the time it will probably be okay. But when the other person, one person or both of them are under stress, of course, our natural motivators is what is showing up.
Mhm.
Anyway, so there was one case I was looking at, and it was a husband and wife, newly married. Um, it was a second marriage for him and a first for her. And both of them were high spirits.
Oh.
Okay. And I was doing that for them. And I said, okay, when I look at this, you're both searchers, very compatible,
Mhm.
because both of you tend to be givers, want to do things to help people.
Mhm.
So there'll be no arguments around that. So that's
They're
great.
purpose driven.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, very purpose driven couple.
Mm.
And then he was a very high spirit. She also was a high spirit, but it was her second while it was his first.
Mm.
Okay. And she was more her first, if I remember it correctly, is she was a friend,
Okay.
which was very much a conflict.
Yeah.
Okay. Friend and spirit.
Yeah.
So she chose a career that would give her the purpose and the friendship because she was the head of a community where she can
Mhm.
bring people together and all of that. But like I said, it's great. In your case, what we're looking at, and he was a spirit, a searcher, and a creator.
So
Okay.
he was all in the blue zone
Yes.
of
Yeah.
growth, which is
Very
future
much so.
focused. And just to
And
remind everybody, spirit, just for the audience, just as a reminder, spirit is around in the sense of independence,
yeah,
autonomy,
the freedom to do what
freedom.
it is that you
Hmm.
want to do or
Hmm.
need to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that brought me to something that was a little bit different. I said, okay, what we see here is you've got a very similar makeup, which one
Mhm.
thing different. But for this person, the way he was, is he wanted to do things that made a difference to him.
Mm.
Okay. He was helping the world, but it had to be very important to him,
Mhm.
okay, based on his talents and things like that. She, on the other hand, was more focused on doing something. Her purpose was to benefit more of the community and would give her that sense of belonging. So
Mhm.
community was very important. So they
Important
were
to
both
her. Yeah.
doing their own things,
Yeah.
which was fine. But believe it or not, like I said to them, the one thing that could create problems in this relationship is your spirits. Because you want to be independent, you want to be you want to do what you want to do, go where you want to go, don't want to be tied down,
Yeah.
which is great. But if you don't make an effort to connect with each other, you could find yourself going off in different directions. And there will come a time where you won't know each other. Yeah. So if you want this marriage to work, I would suggest at the end of the day, you spend 15 minutes minimum each and talk about your day and what was good and what was not. So you're keeping the other person involved.
Mm.
And that will take effort, but it depends on how important the relationship is that you will make the time to do so.
So that's a great way of really helping people recognize where the pitfalls could be in their
Mhm.
relationship. So I guess you did answer the question. Motivational maps would be a good dating app in terms
Oh,
of if you
well,
did a debrief.
well, I told both my children they're not getting married without having a potential partner do their maps.
Well, there you have it, guys. You heard it here first.
Well, like we use this for couples.
Hmm.
It's no different than a business couple or a
Hmm.
couple that's getting married or wants to be married. One of my one of my clients, that's what she wanted me to do for herself because for her and her new husband, another situation because she was extremely independent. Her first one was spirit, his first one was friend.
Hmm.
And the
Hmm.
friend was focused on his children,
Yeah.
that family focus. And it was creating issues because where she was feeling constrained is that he would rather spend the time with his children and she has to go along if she wants time with him.
Right. Right. Because he's
And
still family focused.
yes,
That's
and being newlyweds, she wanted more time with him.
with him. Yeah.
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 So that was a great pitfall. And another couple I did, and this one was great. This one was a business couple.
Hmm.
And it was fascinating because she was a high expert and he was a low expert. And I mean an under 8 expert that changes their perception of a high expert.
Right.
And we talked about that. And the low expert did not mean that he didn't have or want expertise. He had other interests. She was the high expert. And we talked about what it means if you have a expert that is under 10, you tend not to have a lot of respect for people who put themselves out as experts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you would think that that would create a problem in this relationship.
Hmm.
But it didn't because he knew her. He respected her expertise.
Hmm.
He was, as a matter of fact, that is what was driving the business. And that became a rallying cry for them. Like, and she now knew that he really respected her, not pretending to respect her.
Yeah.
And she and he and she appreciated that from him. And then we talked about who was doing what in the business, and before you knew it, they were rearranging things to fit their motivations.
Oh, that's
And
nice.
yep, and they've been doing that for about 5 years now, and their business is thriving like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, because now they're excited about the work that they're doing
Yeah,
as opposed to feeling that it's drudgery.
yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Well, that's actually all the time we have for questions. We had some
Wow,
more. I know, it
went
went by
fast.
fast. It went by fast. So I love these questions. And if anyone has questions that they'd love to pose, Akila will be answering more questions next week, and we'll be talking more about team dynamics. So we'll
Hmm.
have some questions around team dynamics for next week. But I want to thank Akila for sharing her expertise and really helping us all understand what motivational maps are and how we can use it to improve our lives and improve our work. And as always, we are offering a motivational map
Hmm.
and a debrief and a coaching session with our marvelous Akila. So the
Oh,
link is below. So make sure you fill that form out so you have a chance to win. And Akila, you were going to say something. I'm sorry.
yes, I just want to make sure that we tell people registration is enrollment is open for
Yes.
our next motivational map cohort, which starts in January.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's going to be great. It's going to be fun. And if you sign up before December 1st, there's an early bird bonus. And there is the world's biggest debrief of a motivational map series of workshops. And
Yeah.
it goes into who you are, how to communicate, relationships, your
Conflict.
career or business.
Mm-hmm.
And which one did I forget?
Oh, you forgot the best one in February, which is around love.
Well, no, that's
That's
relationship.
relationships. So we have relationships, we have
Oh,
career
money. How could
conflict
I
and
forget
money.
money?
Yeah, and money. Yes, money.
And they're 3.5 hour workshops.
Mhm.
Um, you are going to get so much out of it, but also bigger than that, you get a chatbot that is going to go with it that you can continue to use after.
Absolutely. So if you are excited about being able to get that 5-part series, in addition to registering for the certification program, make sure you fill out the form that'll be below this video. Also, if you are interested in the 5-part program and may not necessarily want to do certification, we will provide you a link to register for the program and pay for the 5-part program. And so there you have it. And with that, I will say thank you so much, Akila, for a wonderful Mapping It Out Wednesday. And we will see you next Wednesday with much, much, much more information.
Well, it's been wonderful getting caught up with you as well. We haven't seen much of each other recently.
I know, I know. So we have to rectify that. So
Yes.
everyone, we will see all of you next Wednesday for another episode. Bye for now.